Yeah, let's get started.
Yeah.
So, the regulations or the competition documents for the 2022 World Finals have been released. And, well, in the technical regulations haven't changed much. And when I say haven't changed much, there's been one singular change to the entire document, and that change would be that the wheel diameter has changed from the minimum wheel diameter has changed from 26 millimeters to 28 millimeters. If you just want to quickly go to that rule.
Yeah, what rule number?
Oh yeah, great. I think it's it's like T7 or something like that. But it's a small change. Yeah, there, up, T7. Up. Get up. Okay, yeah, there. So, T7.
There's no 7.
I think, no, you're looking at because Jesse's looking at the stream, and it's on a lag.
There's no 7.
Yeah, that
There's 7.1.
I'm saying T7 and then it's in the section.
There. Diameter. Here it is. There's the change.
So if you look at the change, it's gone from 26 minimum diameter to 28 minimum diameter. Now, the reason for this change would probably be strength and durability, as well as the real-world changes to the wheel diameter in F1. Even though the outer diameter of the tyre has not changed, the wheel diameter has changed, but these will just have a surprisingly large impact on the cars, because the wheels are probably the biggest drag creators of the car, as they are spinning circles, and anything in aerodynamics that's bad is usually a spinning circle. They are usually the second worst shape to be spinning versus anything with points. Sorry, that wasn't a very good explanation, but the Magnus effect and other effects due to aerodynamic drag of the wheels spinning will be increased, and it's not great for anyone trying to design a car to be aerodynamic. But if you look at our first episode of the season, we discussed on the importance of aerodynamics, and there's a small bite on our Instagram of how important we think aerodynamics are. Which we don't think are I personally don't think are very important. Other people are entitled to their own opinion.
So, with this change, will it make the cars faster, do you think?
No, it'll probably make the cars marginally slower. But when I say marginally slower, I mean you probably... I don't want to do exact calculations, but it probably wouldn't be like a tenth of a second slower. It'd probably be like hundredth or a few hundredths. But there are advantages to bigger wheel diameters. It just is... It's a trade-up, usually, and the aerodynamics are usually the biggest trade-off that you make for those. Faster equals better. Yeah.
Not wrong.
No, you're not wrong. If your car is fast, it usually is very good, unless it is nothing. And then it breaks. Oh, that reminds me of a funny story. While we're waiting for people to finish eating, I think a good story to tell would be back at the 2017 national finals. We, as a team... Sorry, me and Luke, who were both design engineers for Infinitude, went and helped out at the Australian National Finals. And this car that was made out of a material that could only be described as paper mache, or really weak. I don't know if paper mache is a global term, so I'm just going to say paper mache. And I picked it up, and I broke it by picking it up. And they fixed it up, and they put it on the track. And when they had actually a really fast car, like for the surprising lack of engineering of this car, it went like 1.05, I reckon. It did a 1.05, which at that Nationals was probably the quickest time it would have done. Any team would have done. But yeah, it broke as soon as it got to the end of the track beyond repair. Like it literally was shattered in one race, and that was really funny to me. It wasn't funny. Like I felt bad for the students, but at the same time, it was kind of funny.
That reminds me of there was a team at my state finals in 2018, and their Instagram is still up. Thank heavens, because I do enjoy reminiscing about their car. And their team was called Rainbow Dash Racing. I'll for the viewers at home, I'll get the Instagram up in a sec. Let me just turn that off.
I wonder if you bought a Millennium Falcon.
What?
All your results were just a Millennium Falcon.
Here we are. So this is Rainbow Dash Racing.
You're not showing anything. Oh yeah, you are. Never mind.
This is their car. They took some interesting liberties with the thickness of the overall, well, everything actually. And yeah, this was the end of it at the track.
Rainbow Dash, more like Rainbow Trash. Posted by Rainbow Dash Racing. I think that's actually a good point to move on for. If you do fail, that's the best way to fail, by knowing you've failed and just accepting it and making a joke of it. Don't cry like we did.
Ooh.
When I say we, I mean Infinitude as a collective, not totally a single individual.
Thank you for the follow, Commander Snake, which is Riley, and, and Hamish.
Is Hamish your work colleague?
Yeah, he is the one helping us with the editing.
Oh, Hamish, thank you so much for your help. I don't know how much you care about off the track, but we really appreciate your help.
All right, where am I moving on to, Jesse? Direct me where to go.
Well, I think it's time to go to the...
Is that it? Is that the only...
That's literally the only change in the entire race.
No, really?
Yeah, I read through it. I mean, admittedly, I read through it very briefly, side by side, but everything has the same numerical quantity.
Oh.
So, unfortunately, I think it's kind of a...
If you go, usually at the start, they put like a here's what's changed. Keep going. No, maybe not. Okay. Strange.
No, as in because there was so little changes, I reckon they just, they didn't even do a change log.
Is this, why are they not making, like, big changes anymore?
Well, I think it's hard to implement change. I think, firstly, usually when there's no change, it means big changes are around the corner.
That's fair.
I think I'll open this question up for discussion in general, but I do think that F1 in schools has stagnated in car design. There's only really one rear wing design, and there's only really 2 or 3 front wing designs, and everyone kind of knows the kind of right way to design a car now. And the challenge for F1 in schools, in my opinion, is differentiating the good from the great. When that was a lot easier when we competed at the World Finals, because there were 2 or 3 great teams. Now there's 15 great teams, and the quality of the competition has improved massively. So I think the real problem is that we've got to remember this is still a high school competition, and we can't make it too hard because then high school students won't do very well at it. But in the same point, we can't make it too easy because then, you'll get a point where everyone's good at it. So,
is it fair to say that we can assume that they're trying to make the F1 in schools cars look as similar to the real F1 cars as possible?
Well, it depends on how you see F1 in schools. Do you see it as a marketing stunt? Because when we competed, F1 had no interest in what we did.
No.
So to give us background, to give you guys at home background, me and Peter competed when Bernie Eccleston was still in charge of F1, and we got a few things provided by F1, like we got some paddock passes and stuff like that, and I think the world champion got to meet with Bernie Eccleston.
Yeah.
It wasn't like they cared that much about what we did.
No.
So a lot of the F1 teams actually saw value in what we were doing, even if it was purely from this is good marketing material. But I guess, yeah, I think F1. I don't want to assume anything, or I don't want to say anything, but F1 in schools has become a lot more marketable now that F1 has moved in the direction of F1 in schools.
Since Liberty took over, they've really kind of looked into F1 in schools much more.
Yeah.
Than when it was Bernie.
Yeah.
Especially now with the Aramco, partnership and all that. Yeah.
But I do actually think that for the competitions, I'm not sure if anyone at home's aware of the other competitions that are at school that are similar or are at similar age groups. They're usually a bit more complicated.
Such as what, like first and...
The first robotics challenge is usually one of the things, and I know there's a few other localized space challenges and the subs in schools and stuff like that, which are all electronic component based. And this is being archived, by the way, TM Cryptic. But yeah, I think the other challenges provide more technical use to students, or give more information or learning experiences to students. However, one of the things that F1 in schools does brilliant is that it has the ability to teach more than just people that are interested in electronics. I think F1 in schools' greatest strength is that they can harvest marketers or harvest people that are in other fields. And I don't know many challenges in the world that focus on hey, how do you learn how to market yourself? Or
project management as well now. It's such a huge component.
And you'll be very surprised that these skills are very well required when you get out of school. And they'll just assume if you have them, you're so much better employable, or so much more employable.
Absolutely. Especially working within a team, right? What else gives you the chance to be able to work with other people in a business-like environment? Not very many other competitions do that. What experiences that you get in high school?
Okay, so anyway, we should probably actually move on with what we're here to do.
Classic.
How does it say we've got 14 people in the stream?
Do we have 14 people? Whoa!
Whoa! True content creators now.
I know, right? Let's go! The book, The Productivity Project by Chris Bailey, interesting looks at the shift in society with how we value our time.
I haven't heard about that book. I might Google that now.
Let's have a look at that. On project management, the next episode will be about the enterprise portfolio, but we do cover, as part of that, project management. And we have David Powell Freeman on, who is a World Finals judge and also judges within Australia. And he recommended quite a good book by the what are they called? The PMI Foundation.
Project Management Institute.
Yes, and it's like PM Bocker. No, I'm thinking of Bocker bearings. PM it's something. But when it comes out, when the episode comes out next month, you'll be able to go and listen to that. That's
and 100%. That is our best episode so far. And of all the ones that we're hiding, this is the one we're most excited about to release to you all. Because honestly, the pure density and level of information is so high, yet described so simply. And we just really, we weren't even, half of us weren't even in it, and we just listened to it, and it was just so, like, it was an hour and a half of absolute gold.
Yeah.
So I just can't wait for that.
Neither can I. It's very, very good.
Yeah, I don't think there's, on the topic of that project management, I don't think there's one way to go about managing your productivity or managing how your team goes. I think it's just like you find a solution that works for the people you're working with.
Yeah, let's go on to the comp regs, right? And let's have a look at the changes. So let's go to the big one, which is that there is a new portfolio, which is the project management portfolio. I'm not sure which C number that is. Probably under portfolios. Keep going down. Yeah,
project management maybe.
Yeah,
here we are.
Going there. There you go. So yeah, it's
Also,
a 7-page project management portfolio, which is really showing how much they now value project management. Although it is the same points value in the overall scheme of things, so it's 90 points. But yeah, and now they're detailing, as you can see, their initiation process, project schedule, budget and resource management, roles and responsibilities, team and stakeholder communications, risk management, and what does it say? They're mentoring and controlling.
Monitoring and controlling.
Monitoring, sorry. So yeah. If we, Ben, I don't know if you can bring up on that rules and regs page on the F1 Schools website, they have the guides, which I think they've re-released for this year. Yeah, they have.
Yeah.
Oh, what? Okay.
I only got the 2020
So it's
version.
2022 there.
Hey, I've got to hit the...
Oh. Don't get caught out by that. Jeez.
That's rough.
all three of us have done some capacity of work in IT and are very disgusted.
Oh dear. All right. Well, let's go through that and see what it looks like, because the last one, a lot of people said that they did find it quite difficult. Well, they found it quite lacking in the terms of content that was in there.
That's just an introduction onto what everything is, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is a project? Good question.
I can't read it because it's such low res on the.
Hey, I'll zoom in, especially for the viewers at home.
Lovely. So yeah, this is just going through project management, really. If you want to keep going down, the triple constraints.
A good little graph here.
Yeah.
And to a lot of people, like even to me, that's very confusing. What that is. Actually, that gives us a good idea. I reckon we should maybe do some more video content, maybe explaining, maybe project management or simplifying this document. People find an interest in that.
We're gonna do well. I think they would. I don't know. What do the viewers think?
What do you think, chat?
We are gonna do another episode with David Powell Freeman, focusing purely on project management, given how much emphasis there is on it now. So hopefully you should find that useful. Chat doesn't seem very.
Yeah.
Chat doesn't.
Do they still have the PogChamp React?
No.
I thought they get rid of that, didn't they?
But if you're a sub to Strayer Hog, you can use HogChamp.
Oh, two people in the chat. Oh yeah,
yes.
so there's a use there. Okay, so we will. what we might do is we're actually wanting to do more of these live stream kind of things. So Sunday nights might unofficially become a kind of
Stream nights.
Stream night where we do these kind of things.
Are we streaming our production team meetings as well when they cross over?
No, but we'll. I think we might aim to stream twice a month. I think that's a.
The audio cut out. Oh, that'd be on my end.
Oh no, I can hear it.
I'm aware.
I can hear it.
Everything looks fine in the stream. OBS isn't getting angry at me, so we're off to a good start.
Angry.
Anyway, so yeah, I think it might be good if we do something like that. It might. I think it's a lot easier if we can engage more casually on things that we don't want to produce like this, because this will probably only have a use for one.
And the thing is, when we produce content, it takes so long to prepare for. Rather with this, like, it takes us, we can go, oh yeah, let's stream, and then we can just start chatting away and interacting with what you want to hear and not what we think you want to hear. So
we have a reasonable idea, but we're not very good. So.
No. Well, I think we have a good idea.
Yeah, I guess.
Keep scrolling.
Just keep like a lot of this document. You can reading the text will be very useful, but the text can be. There's a lot of text, as far as I remember from reading this document.
I think you have to keep in mind not just to copy what's in here and plop it in your portfolio, because
no, it should be used as a guide.
Yeah, Turnitin is going to pick up on that like that. So.
And you also, from my experience, I'm not sure if this is what other people have experienced, but you don't want to necessarily even tell people what it is. You want to show that you have an understanding of it without at all stating it. Is usually the best way to go about it. I don't know if that makes sense to everyone out there. Does it make sense to you, Ben?
Makes enough sense.
No, I mean, like, the thing is that if you have to say we were organised explicitly, that can often lead you to places where, like, if you have, there's better ways to display that you're organised by saying just in your other work or when you're discussing things. It's, I think, often good to show that you use certain things so you can link back to the actual things that you've stated you've implemented. So then there's actually evidence that you've done what you said. Because I think a lot of teams actually fall short on evidence of what they've done. And it's often hard to believe teams just purely off what they write. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think especially within this competition and a lot of other competitions like it, it's definitely a case of you want to show the judges what you've done instead of saying to the judges what you've done. I think this reflects in all aspects of the competition, whether that's portfolios, project management, verbal presentation. It's why I give you a visual aid. It's very, very important, as well as the pit display as well, because that's very visually based.
And don't lie. Like, we've all judged, and we can tell when someone's lying or a team's lying. Like, just don't do it.
I don't know how many times we've said that now.
Yeah. Don't. That's the most common pieces of advice. Don't lie and read the regs.
I think most teams that are pretty good, though, already understand that.
Yeah. And if you're watching this, you're probably not doing that anyway, so you don't need that advice.
Because, again, I'll tell a funny story that I've told a few times before now. We were judged at the state finals by a judge who's very well known in our state. And we said that we collaborated with the judge who we'd never met before, who was judging us. And so we said we were working with Spencer Olds from Bryden Secondary, who was judging us across the table, and we didn't know his name until afterwards.
No.
He knows exactly what we're saying.
And I feel like that's happened to us. Like, we've had someone put in their portfolio go, yeah, we worked with Infinitude or something when they haven't like talked to us at all.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember when that was.
No, that was my personal favorite. Was when I went up to forget who it was. We keep on forgetting who it was. But I went up to someone at the their pit display at one of the national finals, and they were displaying all the unique features of their car that looked identical to the Infinitude car, and they didn't know who I was, and then I kind of like looked at them and I was like, oh, did Infinitude do that? And then they were like, no. And then I just moved on. And then they saw me a day later in my Infinitude Guernsey or whatever it was. And they were... Don't be embarrassed. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You're going to lose and you're not going to have a great time.
Jeez. So. That's not good. That's not good.
Alright. I'll keep pushing page by page in this document.
Can I say, right, this is all fantastic as well, because we never had this when we competed, like telling us what to do for project management.
No. Yeah, it's great.
And granted, at the time, it was worth less, but I mean, this is brilliant. And again, you don't learn this in school either. Deliverables, milestones. Oh my
Got
God.
another bit of a graph here. Bit of a web. This one.
That reminds me of when Riley did a little mind map of our episodes ages ago.
But I do think it makes a very good point of like these kind of project management guides really are not for not saying they're not for engineers, but it really offers scope for people that are not interested in engineering to be involved in the challenge in a way that they actually want to.
Yeah. It has everything for everyone, really.
Yeah.
Wherever you want to get involved in. Like, I had no interest in engineering, but I just did all the other stuff, so... Planning process, quality acceptance criteria, there's so much in here to get your head around.
Oh, and another bit of a...
diagram. Project schedule.
Here?
Confirm attendance. Dependent tasks.
Got an example Gantt chart here. Oh, something about RAM.
Well, they've highlighted it, so does that mean it's new?
Responsibility assignment matrix can be used to assign team members to appropriate task. Appropriate, not appropriate. A legend or key is usually applied to the RAM. The one most commonly used is RACI, responsible, accountable, consulted, informed.
Racy, I think it's.
Is there if we go down a page, is there a more detailed?
We've got an example an example matrix here.
That's great. Honestly, that is such a good thing to do for every piece of work.
This is
because you can have these as like templates in Excel or templates in Word, and you just print it off for every task you do. Or you even just have it on a Google Doc or something like that.
It is new, Jordan says, so yeah, there we go.
I would love that. Yeah, I would do that. Anyone that's listening now, that is something I would do to show to judges, because they will love that. I love it, so.
And you're a judge, so
I'm a judge, so I love it.
There you go.
another
Creating a budget. There we go. See, we never got
planning.
any of this guidance.
Yeah, no. Oh, example budget as well. Communication matrix.
There we go. It's things teams have been doing for years, but we've never got guidance on how to do it. Oh, something's a bit covered up there.
That's fine. risk assessment matrix.
assessments, again, we were all meant to be doing it, but we were never told explicitly
How to do it.
On it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And honestly, this serves as a good starting point as well. So you can actually, like when we did stuff, we had to start at nothing, so we didn't know where to go. Whereas this offers you so much of a starting point where you can start to look into it from here.
A bit of a starting line, you could say.
Oh my.
Haha.
All right, guys, that's enough for tonight. I'm ending stream. Thank you all for watching.
Anyway, I think we're a bit distracted. But yeah, I think this document is really good. And anything they provide to help you out is usually a good resource.
And they're also going to expect that you use it as well, if they're providing it to you.
Look, even a key terms list. Fantastic.
So the reading for more resources. It's the resources page.
I think that's all the reading. Is there more reading? No.
Well, I mean,
there's
a resources. If you go back up, resources.
downloads maybe.
Downloads maybe. No.
Posters. What's in posters?
Maybe not.
Oh, this is
Some
cute.
more infographics. Yeah.
Never seen this before.
Yeah. There we go. So should we go back to the comp regs?
Comp
I think we
regs,
should.
yeah. Let's hang on. There we are.
There we go.
All right. So I think
So the
that's the major change out of the way. What else we got?
Yeah. And then the difference with this is that they've broken down. I think in the previous regs, I have a feeling project management was one criteria.
Yeah, it was.
And
Yeah.
it was just one descriptor. But now
I
they've
think
actually.
sometimes it was. I think when we competed, it was 2.
Yeah, possibly.
It was never really important.
But now it's its own scorecard. Still worth 90 points, I think. Because if you just skip to the bottom, Ben.
9 points there.
Yeah. If you skip to the bottom with the scorecards. Let's take a look at that. So that's
Scrutineering, design engineering, project management.
There we go.
Just zoom in a bit.
Actually, I think it was a scorecard last. Let me have a look at Ethan's. Yeah, no, it was its own scorecard last year, but it was just a little bit. It's been changed. So it's been broken down into the 4 different kind of areas: initiating, planning, executing, and monitoring and controlling. But I'm just having a look. Okay, they've refined the criteria. The descriptors, sorry. Clear evidence, clear communication plan. Yeah. So they've made it more refined and more specific compared to last year. Compared to the, last year's regs. Kickoff meeting. So yeah, you should be nailing these on the head. Oh, thank you, Jordan, for sending that through in our server. Lovely. So what else has changed? Knockouts. They are not happening anymore. Because, although it hasn't been announced, it's highly likely this will be a virtual event in some capacity for obvious reasons.
So, they're not obvious reasons, but for anyone that hasn't worked in education, it's not obvious. Schools are very unlikely to release students.
No.
Anyway, move on.
I think international travel is also still quite staggered at the moment.
Yeah. That
And
was
very
the
expensive.
obvious reason, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just not practical at the moment for most teams to travel internationally, or schools, for that matter. And even if schools could release students, they wouldn't, based on their own risk assessments, because there's no guarantee that your students would get back into the country and all of that. Anyway,
What I will
that's
say,
relevant.
actually, on that topic,
Mm.
when do we think that F1 schools will go back to a in-person final anytime soon?
It's going to take a long time.
It
I
will
don't
take
think- I don't
number
think
of
it's
years.
happening for another 2 or 3 years, if I'm being
Yeah.
honest. And that's not me trying to put a dampener on people how they feel, but I just don't think it's happening in a while.
I think the first things that will get back to being in person are obviously states and or regionals and nationals, because international will be the last thing that will get back to being in person. And even if it does, it will be staggered. So it's probably, the next event or the first sort of stage to doing that would probably be hybrid, where, you'd only be able to get some countries in or some teams in, and others won't be able to for whatever reason. Because some governments don't recognise all vaccines as being eligible to enter their country.
So even if you've done the right thing and gone, hey, I'm vaccinated, they don't care.
Yep, exactly. So it's going to take a while. And who knows what's around the corner, is there a new variant or whatever that could shut everything down again? Like, look at how quickly Omicron came about. So, I mean, it's anyone's guess when that's going to happen.
Anyway, sorry for keeping distracting us.
Anyway, so what was it? Knockouts. Knockouts will not be happening. And there will be no points allocated to knockouts. However, the total amount of points allocated to racing will remain the same at, what is it?
250.
250? Well, there you go.
No, it's 240 plus 10 for the fastest lap. So, yeah.
Well, there we go. 240 plus 10 for the fastest lap. And didn't they, even though it's in this regulation document, didn't they do the fastest lap thing last year? Yeah, they did. I remember because we did a post on it. So even though it wasn't in the regs last year, they did do it last year. So that's not a completely new thing. So yeah, there will be, I think in the regs it says there will be 2 sessions of 4 races, whether that means there's 4 races in total or 2 times 4.
So, no, it's 2 times 4, and one of them you do the online reaction portal for, but it's just aggregated. It's added to your time at the end. Right,
I see. And that's, I think they say that that's used purely for, hang on, I feel like I read that it was used for seeding purposes, but that doesn't make sense if there's no knockouts.
No, for total point seeding.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yep. Cool. So that's C9.4, Ben, if you want to.
C9.4. Can do. There we are.
There we go. So yeah, which I think is the same as the procedure as what happened last year. So yeah, using the time submitted via the official reaction capture portal. So there we go. And yeah, that's racing. Don't know if you want to add anything on racing, Jesse.
No, I don't know. I don't think there's anything to add.
Should we talk about racing last year? Because there were a lot of breakages last year. So teams need to make sure their car's robust for this World Finals, because you're not going to get a chance to repair it in person.
I think that's also...
Oh, sorry, you will. Well, you personally won't, and it will be up to the judges.
I do actually think that's a good point more in general. Not just in racing, but in general. Conservative is best at the moment. When I say conservative, don't limit your scope to be too little, so you end up just not getting any points things. But if there's like a massive, I want this virtual fly through of my pit display that's like really advanced and it's going to take 3 weeks to render. Or say you've got this like weird interactive verbal presentation that you want to do, and it's got like a 60% chance of working, or it doesn't work properly. Don't do it. Try and get the points as... I think gimmicks are harder to do virtually, and gimmicks are not really worth it when judges can't interact with them too much. So a website gimmick or a kind of a thing that you can control gimmick is really good, but like gimmicks where it's live and you can't do anything about it and there's no scope for, you can't be there to fix it, I don't think it's worth it at all.
No.
but especially in racing, design your cars to last, even if there's this thing in engineering called a safety factor, which you usually designate what is the most load that your, say, beam or say your thing is under, your whatever it is under, and then you design your car to be twice as strong if you've got a safety factor of 2. Or if in the terms of like concrete, your safety factor turns into like 10s or 100s. And it really, you design it to be as strong as possible, and maybe just work out what an appropriate safety factor is for transport, because cars, like when you're traveling with a car in your hand, transport is very simple. You're in control of the car the whole time. Whereas if you're shipping it over there, I've seen some things get pretty devoured by shipping companies, and our pit display turned up broken because it was shipped slightly incorrectly, and it's easy enough to be done. So you really need to design things for the absolute worst case scenario, and the worst case scenario, it seems, for a lot of teams last year was that their cars were either half broken when they got there and they had to be glued together and then they broke at the competition, or that they just didn't test their cars because they didn't have a location to do it because they were constricted. So at the moment, if you can't race your car and you haven't like tested, maybe even I don't know, this is an idea that I would have, send the parcel to yourself as a testing method. Put a car in a box and send it to yourself, and it won't match it 100%, but it will definitely simulate the kind of stresses it will go through in transport. And that's a very anecdotal kind of testing, but I think it's a very cool thing to talk about.
Better than nothing.
No, I think it's actually a really good point to discuss.
Yeah.
Or if you even sent 2 or 3 different things and kind of worked out different packing materials or things like that, it's all good data. Because judges don't care just about your car; they care about how you got it there,
the process.
Yeah, and that's a really good part of process.
And your learning experiences as well. Like, and even if it fails, your testing, that's good. That's what they want to see.
Exactly.
They want to see, you've learned from it, and then you've run right. These are the changes we've made, so that when we do ship our cars for real, for example, we know that it is less likely to break because we've done that testing.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, especially with like bearings are susceptible to a lot of damage in transit. So if you could even race your car after you'd shipped it, great piece of data. Because then you kind of know how much your car's deteriorated within some level, and then you obviously keep controls. You try and reduce the control you try and reduce the uncontrollable variables in that, because obviously there will be a lot, but always great data.
With shipping as well, right? On that, if you don't think that slapping some fragile stickers will make it okay, and then they're gonna, handle it with care as they shove it onto a plane, no, they're gonna chuck it around, and they don't care what's inside. So you really got to make sure it's, secure in however you're packaging it.
I think you'll notice as well with the way that things are shipped now, they don't move in the box. And they're all, like, most of the packages you will receive, it's all very, very stuck in the box and can't move and might have a bit of foam, but it's all very compact and very rigid and stiff.
Like, think about a phone, right? How that gets packaged up. It's not loose. It's not rattling around in the box. It's tightly packaged.
Yeah. So I think if you have, say, a car wrapped in bubble wrap that's moving around, think about the kind of the stresses and the impacts that it's experiencing because it's moving around in bubble wrap versus it just being attached to a box. I know this is not the tangent I thought it would be going on tonight, but
we're off the track.
We're off the track. And yeah.
I think even in the same vein as well, like extending it past just the car and everything, monitors on a pit display die so quickly. Almost every competition I had to fly for, so it's 2 out of 3 competitions, we had monitor break.
Wow.
So unless you want to be in a foreign country running around what their essentially version of a Walmart is for half an hour trying to find a monitor that's available and fits your pit display, I recommend properly securing those items and putting some thought and care into how they're packaged.
Yeah. Well, I mean, with the new pit display regulations, I say new, they were new in 2020 and then they got cut for obvious reasons, given that the World Finals aren't in person. But are teams going to be taking TVs anymore, given the shipping constraints of, 6 boxes and,
yeah,
Isn't
it like 1.2 square meters?
Yeah, it's really small. It's really small. But I mean, we don't have to think about that for a while because it's all virtual, so
you're all saved.
Well, I think we also unanimously agree that pit displays are very useless.
For the teams?
For the teams and for the competition. The only reason they're useful is because the people that visit F1 in schools competitions can see the standard of quality and the quality of students.
Absolutely.
They are fantastic marketing objects.
Yes.
And that's why they put them out on they did that. They put them on the track at Abu Dhabi, didn't they?
Yes. So at the award ceremony, the top 3 were placed on Yas Marina circuit, and Evolves had to be reset up for the paddock during the week of the Grand Prix.
There you go. So yeah, it is fantastic marketing for F1 in schools. But we think it should...
No, sorry, Peter.
Oh, I was just going to say, we think it should be a little bit more room. But I completely understand where they're coming from with trying to limit the packages and, it's a lot of logistical headache for both F1 in schools and the teams themselves.
Only other use is you can use them after or before the comp when visiting events. True. We had to do that a couple of times for a few different things. And it's fantastic to, especially tech expos, things like that, educational expos, just local events like that where it's like pre-done booths and you can just walk in, set up your display as normal. And I can guarantee it will stand out amongst the crowd because the quality of pit displays has improved so much over the past few years as well.
You know what? On that kind of note, though, I remember at the 2016 World Finals, there was someone that worked. I think it was at a gaming expo. I wasn't quite sure, but they said that this is better than what professional companies produce for this kind of thing. Now, obviously, the expense is probably higher, but these are like people that work in displaying, work in trade displays. Like they're difficult to make and they're difficult to engage with people. So these things, I think teams actually lack the if they could make a trade display that they could take around before the competition to trade displays or to various things or to sponsors, I think that's a really good point of difference for a team that, if they could set up a 5-minute pit display and then present in front of that to a sponsor or something like that. They had a trade display that they could actually present to people before the competition, not just one that they've used previously. I think it would actually be a really good kind of marketing tool and would actually provide a lot of benefit.
And with these regulations, we have to keep in mind as well, I think it's also from an equitable kind of, standpoint as well, because these things cost a lot of money, or they can cost a lot of money. And I'm sure the idea of a cost cap or whatever was also considered. But, it's very hard to regulate that amongst F1 in schools.
It also doesn't make a lot of sense because the costs change between countries.
Absolutely. So I think they're also trying to kind of make it a little bit easier for teams that probably don't have the funds that some other teams do. Because how much does ours cost in 2016? All in all, it's probably, 10K or something like that?
It's more than that.
I thought it was 20,000.
No, it's closer to 20
You
grand.
told me, yeah.
Really? Jesus. But
Because
the
it was
bulk
10
of
grand
that,
for the display itself, and
yeah,
then
the
10K
for shipping, which is insane. And then it ended up breaking anyway. So
No one cried over that.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's just looking back on it, that's absurd to have spent that much. But I mean, we did an episode on it, but like, you can spend a lot less and still win that criteria. So yeah, you don't have to spend massive amounts of it. But again, this is all pre-pandemic at the moment. Don't have to worry about it. But I think they should have it in there and make the teams kind of go, well, make the teams go to the judges and say, well, we've thought about having to package it into 6 boxes and having to meet, logistical challenges and etc. I think that'd be a good idea.
I think if that was... I feel like teams are free to do that at the moment, and that should be rewarded by the judges, is the amount of thought placed into something, especially considering... I don't know how many of the followers you've seen from a virtual. Well, I should know how many followers you've seen from a virtual because we judged together. Forgot about that.
That was a while ago.
It was a while ago. But I remember looking at a lot of the teams, and they had these flat displays on these physical models where if they thought about putting in a tiny bit more time and effort into the model, I don't know how much this would have been worth, but if they had done like individual framing segments or showing us how it'd be packaged and everything, I feel like that would be really, really good for points wise and for us as judges to visualize a display, because it's very hard looking at something on a screen. It's not as engaging.
And they've still got that we were talking about, trying to keep in mind like the physical constraints, even though it's virtual. They've still got the sustainability criteria and all of that in there. And I remember one of the teams having that Opbogger material.
Oh,
I can't remember what was so special about it. It was something really...
It was super sustainable, super strong, weatherproof. It was like the golden material.
Yeah, it was perfect. I need to have a look at that because it was so good.
Here I was using like PVC that was not recycled, and we just threw out after the competition and reprinted it again just to have it in Australia.
Here we go, Opbogger. It is biodegradable fiber-based display board for outdoor signs and displays. Does not contain plastic, and as a result, after the board has served its purpose, it will simply degrade naturally. Suitable for outdoor signage for 12 weeks, which is perfect for using it at the competition, obviously. If you want it to be a bit more long-term, maybe not. Maybe don't use that. But for sustainability, that's fantastic. That's amazing.
Yeah, here's an entire article about how it made PVC redundant. That makes me feel awful.
Jeez. I mean, everyone needs to be using that. Like...
And can be printed on like such a large format as well. Like we're talking 3.6 meters here. That is well large enough to do the entire backboard of a World Finals display.
Jeez.
You know what else I think is really good about that? In F1 schools in general, it's very hard to find point of differences. That's a really good point of difference.
Well, and look, it's testament to it right there because it's still stuck in my head almost a year on. Like,
I remember we were reading it and we were like, oh my, we have to mention this to him. What is this?
Yeah, I remember we read the portfolio and then like at the end when it came to the questions, we were like, what on earth is Opbogger? And then they explained it and we were like, wow. That is
Trade display
perfect.
meta changes from PVC Opbugger. Honestly, if you're not using Opbugger, you've already lost.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I don't think they win one either. But
Now we're going to clip this and put this out, and then like everyone's going to be using it.
we're making the competition more sustainable.
That's good. That's what we want.
Listen to Off the Track.
How expensive is Ogboga though?
It was relatively around the same price.
Yeah.
I think it was actually pretty good. Let me.
I guess it
Also,
depends because they've got so many options. It depends on which one you choose.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Again, there's no trade displays at the moment, so you can kind of put it on hold. But
But I mean, you can mention that you used it or you would use it.
Hey Jordan, you raise a great point there. It's going to come in 121 gigabyte update for F1 in schools.
F1 in schools, the game.
F1 in schools, modern car fair.
On sale. They're on sale at the moment. Here we go. I'll send you a link, Ben.
You've got a link? Oh, thank you.
For an Australian supplier.
I thought it was
An Australian Opbugger dealer. See, there we are. That's all you need. $14.52 for a 1.2 meter by 2.4 meter board.
Oh wait, hold on. Go to the third picture.
This one.
It's court flu. It's court flu.
No, it's similar to core flute. It looks like core flute, but it's not core flute. I've got some cross sections here, if you want to have a look, of all the different things.
Looking, but
Superbly printable.
What's it actually? Is it made out of paper or plastic or?
I think it's a recycled paperboard. Yeah, here we are. Paperboard. So it's a.
Can you put the link somewhere? Oh, I'll DM it to you.
So that's the outdoor board. I don't know which one that is.
Oh, okay, so it's just like okay, so it's like cardboard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking it up now. But honestly, you know what? Cardboard's an underutilized material in general in the F1 in schools competition because you can make good things out of cardboard. You ever seen what they ship like Xboxes in and stuff like that? Always very good packaging.
Yeah,
It's made
absolutely.
of cardboard.
No, 100%. I know.
Same with Apple. Like Apple as well. Their packaging's pretty good.
And it's all cardboard.
Yep.
I know 2018, Zero Friction. Their entire pit display was made out of cardboard. I tried to
cardboard,
Google.
you can literally chuck in the recycling bin or a recycling.
Be nice if they had a
And you don't have to bring it home with you
image.
either.
And same with Evolve Australia from
As long as you don't have
2019.
an outdoor event, you're fine.
Hmm.
Yeah, here we are. This is
Yeah,
what
that's all
the display
cardboard.
looked like. It was 100% cardboard.
It's a little bit cropped on stream, but
That's okay. I don't care about the audience. Let me reset that. There we are. It's a tiny bit better. And there we are.
of course, Infinitude comes up as a suggested.
Always comes up.
Time.
Always comes up.
Everywhere, every time.
We went on
Is
another
there anything
tangent.
else?
What other changes are there?
I think that's it. There weren't many changes. What else were there? What did we put in our posts? Everything's due on Friday the 10th of June. So, 4 months.
It's D-Day for
already-
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Expect to cry a lot in those 4 months.
Go look at what Ethan posted. Yeah, no, it's the the scorecards are kind of the same. They've slightly improved them.
They've given a table of contents for the engineering drawings. It's the last page, Ben, if you want to skip to that. Which is new. Maybe Jesse, you want to have a look at that?
Well, okay, so effectively this is just asking for you to... so the judges can mark your orthogonal drawings more appropriately, and also just giving you more clarity on what you need to provide. A lot of teams will provide documents that have a lot of drawings but don't really cover what you want. But yeah, I think this just does a very good way of showing everything nice and simply. And honestly, if I was a team doing orthogonal drawings, I would just do it like this, the exact way they've done it, because then they can tick off everything quickly. If you've got everything, you're probably going to get 4 marks, and if you've done it well.
Yeah.
And I reckon
Sorry. You go, Peter.
I was just going to say, I reckon they've done this because probably teams are putting stuff in a weird order, and it was making it difficult to judge. So
It's not just that. It's also that teams don't actually put stuff in they need to, and they put a lot of stuff they don't need to. Because these are not technically orthogonal drawings, or they're not drawings that you're meant to be replicating cars, like the manufacturing off of. I forget what the exact terminology is, but there's drawings that you're meant to provide enough detail to be able to fully reproduce things. And F1 in sports cars, that's not viable for most of the components unless it's like a wheel or a support structure or something like that. But say the car body that's made of foam, you usually wouldn't have to provide every single dimension in a way that it could be easily replicated. So this is just trying to get rid of useless dimensions, I would assume.
because there's no minimum page limit, is there, or maximum page limit? So
no. I do recommend talking to someone when doing your orthogonals as well. I remember back in Penteslate, after our first year of competition as Penteslate, we spoke with one of our sponsors that was an engineering firm, local engineering firm. And we spoke with their engineers to discuss our orthogonals, and they managed to point out everything we had done wrong. And there was a number of errors or just things that weren't considered up to practice or standard within those drawings. And obviously, I don't have to go into that much of detail where it's, used to be used by a high grade engineering firm. But it is good just to have that industry insight into how orthogonal should be done and what needs to be in the actual booklet.
yeah. All right, I think that's it for the comp regs.
Do we want to do anything else, or do we just want to...
I don't know, does anyone have any questions?
Hang on, I'll make something real quick. Give me a sec.
Oh, sick. I'll give you a sick.
Let me just...
Ben's making a thank you for watching.
No,
Stream ended graphic.
Questions? Oh, this is like a question time. Question time with Off the Track.
Oh, but Ben, how are they going to see our faces?
Can we make our faces bigger?
our faces.
Like big full screen, not full screen, but like...
I was just going to whack this on that in the blank area.
Sure. All right.
So I'm putting that much effort in. Holy shit.
Is that 16:9 or?
Yeah, it's 16:9.
Actually, a question while we're waiting. Do people want this to be a more regular thing?
4K face reveal. I think it should be a regular thing. Podcast face reveal. Oh no. I'm guessing Jordan wants this to be more regular, by the sounds of it.
Alex missed the earlier discussion.
There we are.
So, in my opinion, Alex, I think there will be minimal change. I think 2 millimeters isn't a huge amount. I think if it went from 26 to 32, it would probably be a bit more impactful. However, I think you might see a couple of hundredths of a second difference. So, but I don't think I think teams are getting faster as well. So, well, not teams are getting faster, but every year the rules are the same, so teams get slightly better. So I would say that they wouldn't hugely, but they will impact times, and the biggest impact of those will be the implementation or the higher diameter rotating cylinders that impact the air. I don't think the wheel system will have much of an impact from it because I don't think it will reduce the RPM, the revolutions per track time. Sorry, the revolutions it takes to complete the course. So it might actually reduce the frictional losses of the car as well. But again, these are both very minimal things. So I don't think it's going to be that impactful. I could be completely wrong, but I don't think it will be.
Is it better to have bigger wheels or are on the smaller diameter side?
I couldn't tell you.
What's the effects of having bigger wheels or smaller wheels?
So the two benefits of the two negative impacts of smaller wheels. Is let me restart. The impacts of smaller wheels are that you get less rotational inertia because your wheels can usually be lighter, as well as they can usually be the weight of the tread is spinning closer to the center line. So they take less effort to spin up to speed, or less energy to spin up to speed, which is very useful in the case of a drag racer, which is what these are, because they achieve maximum velocity as soon as possible. Whereas if they're bigger, they take more energy to get into it. So there is a loss there. But the inherent effects of that is that there's less momentum in the wheels. So they will slow down quicker. When we did our research, it's usually quite minimal, the impacts. When the wheels were roughly the same weight, but they were bigger or smaller in diameter, the wheel weight itself can be relatively important because we don't care about how long we can go, we only care about the speed we can make. And from an aerodynamic perspective, you've got more rotational area moving through the air, so you're creating more drag. However, I will say the advantage of small and big are to be decided by teams, and I don't actually think I know enough to fully answer your question.
Thank you. Oh, timer done. Right, let's put it on the cassettes. I'm doing a rat test.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right, chat. We're doing a live rat test reveal for Peter.
Am I negative or positive?
If you go to doespeterhavecovid.com, you can find out.
If you go offthetrack.net / Peter's rat results.
Let's do this.
Oh, Master Panda 61 asks, are the fellas on stream still racing? We are not. We are very old. I couldn't grow this facial hair at 16. No,
I probably look like I could still be competing.
If you're new to Off the Track, we're a cohort of older students Oh, yeah, okay, thanks, mate. Anyway,
Looks like a Snapchat filter, doesn't it?
you come here and say that to me. No, anyway. I'm not going to threaten kids on our first stream. I have already. It doesn't... Okay, let's move
You
on.
can't take it back.
No, so me and Peter competed back in 2016, and Ben competed in 2018?
19.
19. But you competed in 2018 as well.
I did.
So,
Well, I competed in 2016 as well.
a vlog in the off-the-track business.
We should have done it in Melbourne.
It's going to be really good because coming this December, you'll soon see on the Off the Track YouTube channel Vlogmas.
Finally.
We're doing
Outside.
Off the Track Vlogmas this year, so get keen.
This is why I love interacting with the community. The story of Off the Track would actually be a very good one.
They would, wouldn't it?
I'll give you
on our 3-year anniversary, we might do that.
I'll give you a very brief overview of how it started and how we got here.
Oh, bugger.
So, multiple people of our production team kind of expressed a want to educate students and kind of pass down our knowledge. Because a lot of the people in the team kind of went to schools where the knowledge is passed down, which we kind of feel is an unfair advantage to those teams. So we kind of wanted to level out the playing field a bit more. And it took us about 6 months to actually decide to do it, but we kind of all slowly came to the realization it would be a good thing to do for the community. And we've slowly developed our kind of ideas and what we want to do over time. And then last year, because everything was virtual, it offered us a real good opportunity to kind of, as you said earlier, create a community for people that weren't in person. And try and be a bit more like a real world finals when people couldn't experience a real world finals. But yeah, we will. I reckon we'll definitely do a story. We've got many things on the back burner that we need to do. There's still an episode on the lures in the works, and
yeah, I need to finish editing that trailer, but it's almost ready to get released. The trailer, that is. Yeah.
So I don't want to expose or do anything, but what school do you go to a school that's like well known within the community, or they've had people that have previously competed?
Ben, while that response is coming in, can you set a timer for 12 minutes?
Time for 12, yep.
And put it on the stream.
Blimey. Okay, hang on.
Actually, no, I can share my. I think I can share my window, and you can put it in as a browser.
Well, I can actually do it. Hang on. No,
wait, no. Let me give you.
If I go stream elements, I can just add a timer to this overlay.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. So, like, I went to a school where we'd had. Oh no, it's fine. It's all good. I went to a school that had a previous world champion and a third fastest car and a top 10 finish. So in the 3 years before us, we had 3 world finalists that had come into our school. So we kind of had the perfect platform to move on from that. And when we did that, it was we got like so much information that realistically, the idea of our lures, the Infinitude lures, started from a conversation we had with a mentor and started with the conversation we had with our teacher. And I think that's where the success from people comes from, because they discuss with people. And it's really hard to discuss with people if you live in remote New South Wales or, remote Bulgaria. It's really hard to kind of understand the same way that someone in, London would, or someone in a school that's has a very rich history of it. So our end goal, we're not quite there yet. We're trying to still work on ways to actually get the information out there a bit more. But our end goal is to try and get teams to not require that inside knowledge to be competitive.
At the end of the day, we just want to spread our knowledge as far as we can, whether that be through a podcast, social media, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, whatever is the best way to disseminate that information. We're just trying to get it out there. Oh, is it on?
Yeah. It's a little off center. Hang on.
Oh, yeah, I see. Got it. Oh, well, I mean, it's 9 minutes now. I mean, I'm streaming it on Discord.
9 minutes. Hang on.
Yeah, have a look on Discord. I have the current.
Alex Jenkin asks, do you believe in innovation that would have a bigger impact as the lures would be possible with the current regulations? I think the problem you'll run into now is the spirit of the competition. Because the lures, when it came in, was at a period of time where the rules were a lot less... the rules were a lot more exploitable. And usually when rules are exploitable, people will exploit them. And that's how the lures came into existence, and that's how the lures got banned, because people exploited them. I think now that the kind of spirit of the competition, which we also have an episode coming on in July or August
June.
or after the World Finals, we'll kind of touch on why we don't think it's possible, but I still think there's ways. I think if you could find something unique and find a way for it to kind of be in a way where you're not secretive, or you're kind of very open and transparent about your findings, and you can easily remove it or easily get rid of it, that would be the way to go about it. I don't think it's possible to, say, build a car that has this massively illegal or massively interpretable thing. I wouldn't quite say it was because of us, but sorry, I got distracted there. I would say that if you can kind of do it in a way that you're not annoying people and people are just baffled by what you've done, that's the way to go about it. And the spirit of the competition rule actually existed in a lot of different countries before it existed in the World Finals. The German competition had a spirit of the competition rule before us at our World Finals. The spirit of the competition rule, though, kind of came in as like this should have already been in rule. But yeah, I would say we partially contributed to that.
I mean, it was why Lurs was banned, so. Because of us.
Well, the lures was banned because of us, but I'm not sure if the spirit of the competition was because of us.
No. Well, when was it introduced? It was 2019, wasn't it?
I think the spirit of the competition rule kind of goes to stop people just abusing the rules, though. I think that's the general idea of the rule. So, to answer your question really shortly, Alex, no, I don't think it's possible.
What was that? They brought in two other rules at the same time. What were they? Spirit of the competition.
Was it? That's a good question.
I can't. Because everyone talks about Spirit of the competition all the time. All the other ones. Can't remember now. Anyone else have any other questions?
Oh, don't feel like you have to ask him tonight if you don't want to. We'll be doing this a lot more often now.
Or message us on Instagram or whatever.
We might do another one of those Instagram asks us, and we might even offer that as like a regular thing that we'll answer on stream.
That's a very good idea.
I don't want to over-promise and under-deliver.
Yeah. But no, that's a very good idea. Very good idea.
Alex raises an interesting opinion. I think the spirit of the competition is stupid.
That's a fair point.
What do people think of the spirit of the competition? Like, not on a how to do good at it or how not to do good at it, but on a level of what do they actually think about it?
Why, Alex? Why do you think it's stupid? Do you think it's stupid because it's limiting, or the rat test is coming in 5 minutes? Do you think it's stupid because it's limiting, or because the judges can just go, right, no, we don't like that too much, all overrule that, and not allow you to do that? Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's an interesting perspective. I think I see your point of view, Alex. Oh.
I think we talked about
Ben,
spirit.
Can you chuck up the spirit of the competition rule on the screen?
Okay.
That would actually be a good thing. I think that's actually. I think you both raised very good points, Katie and Alex.
Here's an extract. The spirit of the competition is simple. Embrace and respect the rules and regulations. Do your very best to compete legally and fairly while contributing positively to the F1 and Schools World Finals. Make friends, create positive relationships, network professionally, and enjoy yourselves.
The idea of the spirit of the competition is to, if you can find an innovation that doesn't break the rules, that's great. That's good. If you find an innovation that you have to break a rule to be faster, that's not great, and that's not what you want. Because other teams probably could have done that, but they didn't want to because it's against their morals. Or, I do agree that I think fairness is definitely a way to think about it. If there's things that you can do legally that are not morally correct, and I think this is just kind of not a legal protection, but a competition protection to make sure that people don't just go out and not have a front wing, but they find a way for it to be legal somehow. Or
can I ask? It says this in the rule, right? A team attempting to abuse the technical regulations may, at the discretion of the chair of judges, be removed from racing and receive no points. But isn't the whole idea of innovation to abuse the regulations and try and find the, bend it to your advantage?
There's a difference between bending and breaking. So, say if you're on if you can prove to everyone if you can prove to everyone that your car meets the regulations, but when it races it doesn't, then that would be kind of bending the rules. Whereas if your car actually breaks the rules on paper, but is fast because it breaks the rules on paper, then I would say that's like that kind of thing. DAS and the flex wings on the cars. I think they're very good examples of bending the rules, right? Because they're not judgeable until they're happening. But and I would honestly think that that's actually an all right thing in my understanding of the rules. That would probably be within the spirit of the competition, or there's enough kind of protection for that. The kind of point that I would stop at would be your wings like 35 millimeters long because it works with another part of the car, or breaking rules that don't really matter, but you can get a massive advantage from them. I remember a lot of teams in Australia used to try and do a tether guide that was not a tether guide at all. That would be some massive, complicated structure. And that's kind of that's outside of the spirit of the competition. Even though it's kind of legal, you're only breaking 1 or 2 point penalties.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, I'm not really describing that one.
No. Well, I mean, it's a grey area because it's kind of like you're giving the judges it's completely up to their discretion, and they can go, right, we don't like it. So, Ben, do you want to go to the project elements list?
Can do. Where's that at?
Noticeable changes. There are a few changes. Let's have a look. It is. The biggest one is the...
Number 50. Here we are.
time is done.
Does Pete have COVID?
Don't have COVID today.
Is this the one that you have to use the UV light on?
No.
It's a crap one then.
I can't.
Can you hold up your rat test to the camera, please?
Yeah. Are you ready? What bets? Am I positive or negative?
You're negative.
I reckon you're positive. Just to create drama.
Void test.
It's not in focus.
3 lines?
There we go.
Oh,
it's negative.
It's negative.
Boring. Sorry, let me just scribble in a line like the message.
Send it to government. Get your $750.
Wait, Ben, should we show? Let's. I'm gonna send you a
show
photo.
My TikTok.
No. Peter, don't plug yourself. I'm gonna send you the fake rat that we made.
Anyways, this is the updated physical project element submission checklist.
I think C 2.11 is also
that also has one. Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's
C2 131 as well.
Yeah, the biggest change is the project management portfolio. All relevant CAD data and access to CAD software. It's all the same by the looks of it, apart from the project management portfolio being its own separate portfolio.
Here we are. Here's a checklist.
Page 16. Next.
Here we are. Yeah, that all fits on the single page. But yeah, the only noticeable change is the project management booklet that is now required.
Why doesn't that video...
Also, never mind.
Page 16 has a list of digital submission elements. Oh, is that page 16?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's just the project management portfolio. To my knowledge.
Obviously, it's slightly different compared to a physical event as opposed to a virtual event. I think these regulations very clearly state that it's going to be a virtual event. Based on the recording of the verbal presentation, virtual pit display. Yeah.
Could be hybrid. Who knows? But I hear that we will be finding out pretty soon.
Stay tuned for breaking news.
Anyways, I think that's pretty much it. If anyone doesn't have any other questions,
this is almost 2 hours. Like, that's pretty good.
We did an hour 30 probably of actual content.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which for us is pretty good, and we're surprised that we've kept people engaged for that long.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think it says somewhere that you can go to the award ceremony in real life. Ooh.
Katie knows the rules better than us.
There we go. Well, if you're competing at the World Finals, then...
you should do.
Yeah, I'd hope so.
Is Katie competing at this year's World Finals?
Am I competing at this year's World Finals?
Oh, are you about to reveal something here, Ben? Yes, we're uploading this on YouTube.
This also probably... Can we keep it as a VOD on Twitch?
I have that. I think I can turn it on. But it only stays up for... How long, Ben?
a VOD. A VOD stays up for, unless this account has linked Prime, I think it only stays up for 24 hours. But you can download straight away, so this will be up on our YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've got it linked automatically to do that. So.
Oh, you're both from Avidity. Okay.
Yeah, they're in. I think they're in the server.
Ah. Hi, Missy. How are you? I know Missy from my World Finals.
Yeah, we were gonna do interviews, but we're waiting until they announce stuff, and then we'll do interviews. Just to give you an update on that. Sorry for the delay.
You should be sorry, Peter.
I'm very sorry. Always very sorry.
Do better. You are accountable.
We're all accountable because we're all on the committee.
Hang on, let me read out our
We haven't even
Twitter
been
apology.
cancelled yet.
We haven't been not yet. Our Twitter apology.
Whose idea was that?
That was mine,
I
that
love
was
it.
the highest retention rate that we've had on our stories. So almost everyone clicked through or read through to the end.
Of course, it's an apology.
Yeah, so people think, oh, what have they done? What have they done? Bit of a
Oh, bit of suspense. Has Michael been
We're
cancelled
sneaky
yet?
and tricky, aren't we? I think next week. Not next week. I can't promise next week, but I think next time we do this, we'll probably actually do something a bit more fun, maybe, or maybe a bit more prepared.
What's your idea of fun?
I don't know. We'll do something. I've got some ideas, but we'll leave that to next week or next fortnight.
Cliffhanger, a bit of a cliffhanger.
I think what we might try and do is actually announce these a bit before time.
Oh yeah,
so
absolutely.
people can be involved and enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for everyone coming in and listening to us talk out of our ass for 2 hours. And yeah, we'll try and build it up from here. Seems like people enjoyed just kind of
Chilling with
if
us.
Spamming chat.
Is there any other content you guys would like to see from us? Other than
We talked about that.
We did this one night.
Did we?
But we did a stream with no one there because we never promoted it.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's our next stream. There we go.
Okay. That's a great idea.
Let's do it. I mean, one of our ideas was to split us off into 2 teams, like the production team, and do a head-to-head kind of designing a car. But that would go for other elements as well, like graphics and.
So, like our mini. What was it called? I didn't get to do one at my competition.
Pressure challenge.
Pressure challenge. That's it.
You know what, though?
Looking forward to Project Management Podcast episode.
What if we had to do a full F1 in Schools team in
2 hours?
We'd have to do so you could allocate time to do everything, and you'd have to choose what you did.
Could you imagine our verbal presentations? Most of it would be just weird, here's our car, it goes quick.
That's the same amount of time you'd allocate in a normal competition anyway, so.
No, but I think I think it would actually provide a good idea, a good platform to show you what can happen if you don't prepare your verbals. Don't prepare your portfolio.
See how crap we are.
Yeah,
we're rusty. We're rusty as well.
You'll be able to tell. You'll be able to tell when we're lying about things.
Yeah.
Or when we're telling the truth. So
we approached 20 sponsors and we raised $80,000 in 2 hours.
If people would want to partake in that, or if people would want to see that, we might do that.
We might do that.
Because that sounds actually like a great idea and would be a lot of fun.
Audience polls.
Yeah,
We'll put a poll on Instagram.
It's like the F1 Schools Race of Champions.
Or what was that meme F1 in Schools meme team of the year?
Oh, Paradoxum. Get them on. Oh.
I'll wear my Paradoxum uniform.
grams never again. My favorite Instagram page.
Oh, we just endorsed that now, haven't we? We don't give endorsements.
All
That's
right,
not an
that's
endorsement.
against.
That's a personal endorsement.
Okay, I see.
I, Jesse Stevens, find it funny. Not representing the
I am not
opinion of
representing
off the
Off the
track.
Track.
Sorry. Can't do that.
What?
I'll do what?
I'm covering up my waffle.
What? What?
Anyway,
right.
I might call it now. We'll see it out to 2 hours, but
Oh, okay. We've got 30 seconds then.
we've got
30 seconds. Well, thank you so much for watching, chat. Hope you enjoyed our first proper live stream, I'd like to say, as Off the Track. If you do want to see more, hit that follow button. We don't have a decent notification pop up because I forgot to do it and couldn't be bothered because Peter gave me 30 minutes to make one.
Also, listen to our latest episode that released today.
Yeah.
Really good. We had
And get ready for our next one on the enterprise portfolio.
But we also have a former F1 engineer. Oh, sorry, a current F1 engineer on this episode.
I'm on this episode. I really like this episode.
This episode, like, it's not like you. When you see the ones that we're doing next, you're not gonna appreciate this one as much. But I really want this episode. Also provides a lot of good information.
Do we want to tease some content?
Ooh.
The people in the chat want to see it.
Do you want to see some special content?